Welcome to the dance party.
Yeah, that one, that is staying in.
Oh.
Welcome to Dance Foursome.
Welcome to the Dance Party 247 podcast. You've got DJ T, Sam Saint, DJ Destiny, and myself, DJ MV. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a little like and share the content. Over to you, T.
We're gonna kind of talk over a few things that have happened. Probably in the last couple of weeks, kind of DJ wise, nothing major, nothing big, but
well, there's a big thing for us, isn't there?
Well, yeah. I mean, as in, there's nothing as in it's breaking news in the DJ world, but obviously sort of important enough for us to talk to talk about it on a podcast, which is that DJ Destiny has finally, through delays, has got to 3000s, and Envy and Destiny have had a little play on those. Although she's still missing a mixer. It is now May, is it?
End of May, they said.
Yeah, but I'm not counting my chickens, to be honest.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So
well, good.
Do you know the funny thing is, right? I've got these beasts of a machine, and then I've got them crappy little speakers behind it.
Yeah, you do need to upgrade your speakers.
I need some new speakers.
Sam's gone. Getting better. Probably sounds nothing like the original anymore.
Are you all right, Sam?
I remember what he said. He said one day he would do it on a podcast randomly, and he just done it.
Yep. Anyway, if anyone doesn't know, that's a reference to Fisher. Anyway, so yeah, obviously Destiny's mixes somewhere in a container, somewhere in the Pacific or Atlantic or somewhere traveling.
I reckon it's still in Taiwan or China or wherever they're made. I don't think it's even left the country yet.
It's probably still in pieces.
Well, let's talk about that then. So obviously the lack of equipment around, as in Destiny's not coming through, is due to a lot of chip shortage, isn't there?
Yeah, I think obviously China produced the chips, didn't they? And I think they've obviously, with everything going on,
we do the fish, they do the chips. Yeah. I know, it goes downhill for me.
Yeah, it goes down like a lead balloon, mate.
And maybe that's a reference to the last podcast that didn't go out, the old food stuff.
Yeah, that weren't great, that one. Yeah, obviously they produce all the chips and they make them all over in China. So obviously with the war in Ukraine obviously going on, and COVID, and you put all that together,
well, America
it's been a big issue.
America makes quite a lot of chips, but they've had to do a lot of reinvestment. They've had fires and COVID, and they've had to increase their production capacity, and because it's got to be all sterile, it takes ages to build and billions to build. So we're on catch up for a long time, for the next several years, in terms of chip technology, let alone canals being blocked off by ships as well.
Yeah, there was that, wasn't there?
So poor Destiny has paid for something. She hasn't, probably going to be 6 months before you get it in your hands, before after you've paid for it. When did you buy it?
The DJ Disc store. I'm sure that's
no,
what
when?
It's called.
When did you buy it?
When did I order them?
Yeah, when did you put money down? Yeah.
Oh my God, November.
All right, so it will be then, won't it?
No, it was January.
I thought it was February time, but I might be wrong. But it was definitely this year.
It was early in the year, wasn't it? It was about mid.
Yeah, January, February. I mean, we're now in what the fourth month. And I mean, I've never ordered something and waited 4 months for it. Because if you did, you'd be on the phone giving it like proper having a go, wouldn't you?
It has nothing to do with supply and demand. That's because everybody doesn't have the patience of 4 months. He will source it one way or another, or change his mind and get something else instead.
Well, yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute. But I know Sam's opinion on it. but he's very.
So
You know.
two people here have had their hands on Destiny's decks. I'll leave it there. All right. So, what do you think to the 3000? Obviously, you both used in a couple of times the Nexus 2 system. So, what's the difference? Is it worth the money? How sexy are they? I know Destiny's going to say how sexy they are because she said that many a time. But give us an overview of what you think to them and how they make you feel.
Well, firstly, I am really glad I didn't go for the XDJ thousands or whatever they were.
Oh, Mark.
Do you remember that back last year when it all started?
Yeah. Well, that's because the price increments is not that much more. If you go a little bit more, you get a little bit more. You go a little bit more again, you get a little bit more. So you went, I'm going all in.
Well, once me and Envy and Wongy went up to the station rent out place, and I had to go on the Nexus system.
Yeah, that was
I was
Pirate
like,
Studios.
Pirate Studios, nice.
Yeah. But then it was something you said, T, actually, about the kind of software and updates that the 3000s had that made me kind of look into YouTube and read things about it. And that's because it wasn't that higher than the Nexus. I thought, sod it, I'm just going to go all the way. It's my only chance. So, yeah. And I'm quite happy.
You can't. Thing is, you can't buy the Nexus anymore anyway. They're not building them. So you in reality, by the time you got round to actually purchasing them, you would have had to go to the 3000s because the Nexus was no longer available.
If you're buying new, or you go the next.
But Destiny's bought brand new, so she wouldn't have had a choice.
Well, you'd have to
go for the Nexus.
The ones that are available then is the XDJ thousands Mark II, which is the next one's up from what Sam's got, or the 900 Nexus. They're the only ones below the 3000 now. Realistically, that she was in a, and it's like because there's not that much of a jump. I mean, okay, there is in some respects, but because obviously she want to make herself future proof. That obviously she said, well, I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound. It is one of those, wasn't it? But you never pulled the plug straight away. You did well because of circumstances that you had to hold and bite your tongue just before you could make a payment, even, didn't you?
Yeah, it was quite painful because I just wanted it to all go through. I was quite lucky, to be honest, because now there's a shortage again of them, apparently.
Yeah, well, the stock comes in and goes out, doesn't it? They're quick.
Well, I was looking at 3000s, wasn't I? And you cannot get them for love of money. There is none around. There was one place I mentioned to you, Destiny. It was like for a mixer was like September 2023 for a V10. It's ridiculous. It's over a year. And I think the earliest I found the 3000s in stock was sort of the middle of July. There's just nothing coming.
It's insane, isn't it? It is absolutely insane. I think as DJs, we're kind of used to going, I need this for my setup or whatever.
You ring up or go online and it's there, isn't it?
You find it and you buy it and it's delivered within a couple of days. But obviously, Destiny's had the wait of a lifetime and now you can't even get them. It's absolutely insane.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons, obviously, I'm purchasing some new decks this year within the next couple of months, and I've decided to go down the denim route.
Wait. I asked for some feedback on the 3000s. All of a sudden, it's gone.
I'm just about to put comparisons in place.
All right. Well,
so if you let me finish, so I've decided to go down the denim route. Number one, because there's just no pioneers around, and I'm an impatient git. And number two, because you don't matter where you look online for denim, they've got tons of stock. Because the 3000s have just been released, where the denims have been out a lot longer, so they've had time to build stock. Where Pioneer have literally not long released these, and they just can't get the stock in quick enough.
Or there's not selling.
Well, it could be that. I just don't think they can get stock in quick enough because when we did see them in stock, they only had 2 or 3 units
of the Pioneers. You mean?
Yeah, they didn't have 10 units or anything like that. They had 2 or 3 units to sell.
I would expect. Don't know for sure, but I would expect basically that every retail outlet will not get their full quota. They'll have to say, well, you want 20 units, you're going to get 5. It'd be one of those scenarios.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, the thing is, when there's a shortage, people are putting them on pre-order like Destiny did, and before they've even hit the shop, they're sold. So, you know, the only way to get your hands on a set now is to pre-order them.
So you've got them, Destiny. How are they?
Oh, they're so lush. They really are. They're just, oh my God. What else can I say? I love the screen on it. I love the fact that you can adjust the jog wheel heaviness. I love the fact that I'm getting used to the beat jump on it. It's got a fancy little reverse thing going on. You can have all the waveforms, different colors. It's a beast, pretty much.
So definitely worth the investment then.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm happy with them. I'm glad I've got them. Yeah, definitely.
Are they now sort of in the same little niche as the 1210s? Do you think, or getting there?
I love my final. I love my 1210s.
I know they're not going to be the same, but I mean, as in to the extent that they will never be got rid of. They now keep us alive.
Yeah, definitely. I've got to get some carry cases, but keepers.
Not until the 3000 Mark II comes out, or the Mark III, or the 6000.
It'll be about $6,000.
Yeah,
it won't be cheap.
No,
that is the thing with Pioneer, though, isn't it? I gave this comparison to T earlier, and I think I gave it to Sam as well. You know, like Pioneer are like Apple. They don't do many updates, but they release a brand new phone, in Apple's case, or a deck with the updates in it, rather than giving loads of updates or giving you the full amount and then just updating on that.
Well, what do you call it? I was going to say there's on the second-hand market, you get an X2 for 10K platinum editions. Well, you can't even have enough stock in the country to be able to do platinum editions. But how much would they cost for the 3000s if they ever got around to making them, which they probably won't, because they just need to ship enough out of the regular stock. Okay, Mr. Envy, so you've had a play of the 3000. So yeah, from your point of view, obviously, Envy is I don't think Destiny Man is saying this helped set them up for her, because she's never been across anything like this before. So obviously maybe a little bit deep dive.
Excuse me. I had them running before I even went to Envy's, thank you.
Yes, I'm not saying he didn't, but he helped you set them up, did he not?
I helped you customize them.
He enlightened me to the fact that you could customize quite a lot of things on them, yes, indeed.
Yes. Yeah,
which I love.
You're welcome.
So, obviously, with Envy's, obviously, maybe having to go down that route of a little bit more of a deeper dive. What's your opinion of the 3000s? How they feel?
So, I would like to actually point out that Envy has played on a lot more different CDJs than I have. So, I've not really got a lot to compare it to. So, yeah, he'll have a lot more to say.
I mean, they're better than the Nexus. They are. The jog wheels, they've improved the jog wheel massively compared to the Nexus. It's one unit now. So the glass is all one unit on the top, and then it's broken down into segments as the old one. It's smoother. The screen is much brighter. The beat jump is better, and your hot cues, your loops, they're just seamless. They are so much better than the Nexus 2s. The only downside I really found with them was they ain't got no pads. They don't have no performance pads. Now, that's something I would have loved to see on them, because that would have sold me 100%. Because they've brought this new product out, and what they've done, they've put hot cues in. You can use them for other bits and pieces as well, but what they ain't done is give you that extra performance side. For 2,200 quid, you would have thought they would have gave you that extra little bit, right? You know,
I suppose in their range, you can always go to the XZ, can't you? if you want the performance pads.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you want the best of both worlds, which some companies have done, they have done that. You would have thought that this is their first release after 10 years of a top end player. True or not?
But maybe they don't want to do that because most DJs in the club, not all, we're not all Mr. Hypes, are we? Will just pretty much mix and do a few hot cues and stuff like that. So
for the majority, would it not be nice to have the?
It's always nice to have options. Always nice to have options. Of course it is. However, not all those options are going to be utilised. There's a DJ we talked about last night who's got a piece of equipment that probably hasn't learned anything new on it in the last 12 months.
Last 2 years.
Well, you could argue either way, but the reality is obviously it's nice to have them, but are you going to use them? Are you going to utilise them?
I would have done if it was me. I would because I haven't played much on controllers. I've only really used the Prime 4. But if they were there and I had a set at home, I would learn to use them properly. Why wouldn't you? If you've got a controller with pads, they're there for a reason. They're there to be used to improve your overall performance. So it would have been great if Pioneer had done that, had put a set of pads on them. Well, I think if they'd have done that, there wouldn't have been anything close to Pioneer then, because that would have been everything that a DJ could possibly want.
Well, I remember my now Remy, my almost 2-year-old son, has them for spinning around in the front room or just standing up watching telly on them. My old reloops, and they had they had loops. They had they were more manual loop. You could loop it, but obviously they had hot cues and they had sampling and effects all on the same player. And I used them to the maximum. Obviously, what they were there, so you have a play with them and you go, okay, how do I put crowbar this into my set to start off with? And that was obviously gets a little bit more subtle when you know how to use them correctly. But I used to use those. So I'm like you, that I would like if the opportunity to have effects done subtly, or performance pads would be something that says, okay, this is a bit new and I want to get my teeth into.
Yeah, but if you've got the pads there and you know that can improve your set and make you a better DJ, surely you would use them. And I think Pioneer's missed a trick on this. I really do. That they haven't. I know with Pioneer they take the original 1000 that come out, back in the day, and they've kept it very much the same. It's very similar layout. Everything's sort of in the same place. They haven't really changed it too much, which is ideal for clubs. But I do think that,
especially when it's dark, you can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, I do think though that they have missed out and let themselves down a little bit by not putting performance pads on there.
I mean, really do. I get what you're saying. I don't think they've let themselves down purely for the fact that these units are selling out. You know what I mean? So I think if they had truly let themselves down, they would have an issue getting rid of them. But let's be real, performance pads are not.
It's Pioneer, so people, when you say Pioneer, everyone knows who they are, and they know that they're reliable. So
that's why I don't think the performance pads matter, because it's Pioneer.
No. I'm not saying that they matter. What I'm saying is, from my point of view, it would have been nice to see something new on there so you could be that bit more creative.
So I just keep looking to the left of Destiny's head so I can just see them. And it is just annoying me.
I think that they've put more of the money into what's inside, like the processing speed from this video I was watching and the big touch screen. That's probably why I don't think they went down the performance pad route.
The thing is that as I said before, most club DJs wouldn't either want them or actually use them. They wouldn't, because if you did want those, then you would bring your own kit in, which we see a lot of anyway, as in the controllers, don't we? So they vote with their feet, don't they? They vote. I mean, if they had a pair of 3000s, a lot of people wouldn't even want 3000s because they wouldn't know necessarily how to use them or utilize them because they're happy with their controller or their XZ or.
Right. The other thing I think Pioneer should have done would have that dual layer, so you can mix off of one deck only. Which in a club, say for instance your one deck goes down, you can still carry on the night. You can still perform mixing on one deck.
Yeah, but that's why most clubs, if they have their own equipment, have 3 decks.
Yeah, but we know for a fact that you go to most clubs and
they don't.
The ones that do have them don't have no spares.
Well, to be fair, most clubs don't have them. Most clubs have no kit.
Yeah, because they can't get them.
No, they just don't have no kit because they expect everyone to bring their own kit in, which therefore the DJs walk in with a bimming controller under one arm and headphones in the other and go
clippity laptop,
click clippity clop. Well, maybe a laptop if you're lucky, and still go clippity clop.
Yeah, well, we know that for a fact.
Haven't these got a kick-in feature though? If something goes wrong in them,
right? So there's one feature. So if say for instance your thumb drive fails or the plug gets pulled out, I believe it will go into a 4-beat loop.
Yeah.
Again, Denon done that first, but instead of having a 4-beat loop, say your thumb drive fails, you can play the whole track because it memorizes the track in its hard drive,
which is its memory.
Really cool.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. So we'll get down the route of comparison in a minute.
That kind of leads to a question that I have for you guys, which is, as you've said, Envy, Denon have done this and that first before Pioneer have done it. So in fact, that would then be classed as like kind of groundbreaking technology, right?
Yeah.
Why haven't they still managed to outsell Pioneer? And this is not me giving an opinion. This is just me answering the question.
So my opinion, is Pioneer's club standard. End of. That's why Pioneer outsell. And
you think that's the sole reason that Denon still haven't outsold Pioneer.
Yeah, because Denon are not club standard, and that's why Pioneer they own the market. I watched a video earlier on. What was his name? Luke.
Laidback
Luke. And he's been around a long time. He plays at massive festivals in the US. He's quite a big DJ out there. And he done a bit of a review on the Denons, which I was watching. And he prefers them. If he plays out, he has a set of them installed rather than the Pioneer.
Because he was the first DJ on the planet that basically claims they sponsored.
He also had input with Denon, didn't he, with the buttons and bits and pieces.
He's their global ambassador.
Yeah. And they are good. The Pioneer, I'm not disputing that. They are great decks.
Is there really a kind of club standard though nowadays?
Yes.
Because but there's so many. You've got like Denon, Pioneer. Right.
If you
back in the day, if it wasn't Technics,
you know what? If you're going across bars and you average clubs, then there's no standard because there's no equipment in them. There is no equipment. It's just whoever turns up, whatever you're playing, which is, to be fair, more often than not, Pioneer, but it's not necessarily the same same piece of kit, but it's Pioneer made. If you're talking obviously sort of the bigger, well-established clubs where they have, international DJs playing, then they have their own full set, and it's 2,000 Nexus or 3,000 as they're having to upgrade. So, and they have, you look at Fabric, there are 6 decks, 6 3,000s in there. So the standard for the very, very top level hasn't changed. It's Pioneer and it's 93,000. The rest of it is just, it's Pioneer is the market leader in terms of equipment provider, but there's no standard because a lot of people are saying, well, they're going to bring their own kit in anyway, so why is our equipment here just getting dust? Which I think is criminal, but there you go.
Yeah, but by people bringing their own equipment, the people that can't really mix can actually get to mix.
Not always.
Well, no, they okay. Let me rephrase what I said. The people who bring their own equipment get to play out, because if you put them on a set of separates, and we know this because we've been out and about in the towns, haven't we? They just can't do it, and most of the time they can't even do it on the equipment that they've brought with them.
Well, you can't tarnish all DJs in that respect.
No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is what we've seen and what we've experienced.
Yeah, okay. What we've experienced in one town going to the handful of pubs then and bars that the standard is nowhere near what you'd expect it to be. Across your proper as a whole, I would hope that is not necessarily the truth, because there'll be a lot of DJs out there who would say, well, I can mix, I can do this, I can do the other. To be fair, we didn't go up to them and go, here's a pair of 2000s or 3000s. Can you mix on these as well tonight? They might well do a better job, because you couldn't do a worse job in some cases.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
That is a true fact. I think, let's go back to the Pioneer. If I wanted to spend 4,400 quid on a set of decks, I'd get them. But there are other decks that are just as good, that do everything the Pioneer do and more for half that price, which I think is a fair comment.
Well, I think at the end of the day, if you're spending your own money and you're talking top level equipment, then you can DJ across any piece of equipment, because the functionality, what do they do? Well, you have a play, you have a stop, you have a pitch, you have a stop in terms of your vinyl breaks. Yeah, okay, you can have all your other gimmicks, but you know what? How much are you actually going to use those? Are you going to, if you use a mixing key anyway, unless you really, really want to play a track and deep dive into it, you're probably just going to play mixing key anyway, and then just get to the track that you want, rather than obviously changing the key up and everything.
Yeah, I think
while you do that in the middle of a mix and a live.
I don't think they've put that in there for your top end DJs. I think they've put that in there for, it's more of a gimmick for, if, say, for instance, Destiny went and done a party, she could just literally play anything she liked in any order. It would make no.
Yeah, I think it's more of an accessibility thing, really, isn't it? Rather than like you say, top level DJs wanting that or needing it. I agree with you on that.
Well, put it this way, it shows what can be done when you got like James Hype doing what he does on them. And you know what? I try and break it down in real time, and I get lost. I don't know about you. I get lost in what he's doing, and I have half a clue. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, seriously, you watch one of his mixes, especially if you're on Instagram, which very much anyway. So we go on Instagram, all that kind of stuff, right? You'll see he does a lot of breakdowns of what he does, and his hands are quick, and you can't watch what he's doing. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Okay, so that's brought me on to another point. That's what we mean by industry standard, because if, say, for instance, you go to one club, they've got Pioneer, one club, they've got Denon, he wouldn't be able to do what he does on the Pioneer, on the Denon, without learning the equipment first.
He'd probably do even more on the Denon.
No, he could do more on the Denon, because the Denon do more. But what I'm saying is, to go into any club, yeah, and you've got a set of Pioneers, 3000s, and you've got a 900 Nexus mixer, yeah, that is considered standard. And you know, you don't have to think about what you're doing. You just know where everything is, don't you? That is the reality.
Yeah.
So Sam, when you're mixing on your equipment now, do you have to think about where all your knobs and buttons are?
No, not really. So it becomes instinctive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my point is, if you had Denon in one club, Pioneer in another, yeah, different mixers, it becomes unfamiliar.
But they're not that unfamiliar, is it? It's like, okay, you can use an Android phone and you can use an Apple phone.
I can't use Apple phones. I cannot work them.
Well, you're the exception.
I hate
then.
Apple phones.
Yeah.
I can't work them. Destiny, can you work them?
Right.
No, I hate them.
I don't understand that.
I don't. The easiest Apple is so much easier to work than an Android.
Yeah.
So much easier.
Not.
They are.
I work an Android easy.
No.
But I cannot work an iPhone.
Right, but I have an iPhone for my personal phone, and then an Alcatel, which is Android,
for work.
My work phone. But I can work both of them perfectly fine. I don't get why Apple users seem to be able to use Android, but Android users can't seem to be able to use Apple. It makes absolutely no sense when Apple is 10 times easier to use than it is. It is deliberately made by Apple more accessible for anyone to use than Android would ever dream of doing.
I disagree.
Well, you've got the comparison of Denon, haven't you? So Denon, obviously, groundbreaking was first in this, first in the other.
Yeah.
Okay. So Samsung and the Android, the Google
Your
phones,
top
all that
end
kind of stuff.
mobiles, yeah.
They're all pushing stuff that's 2 years in advance of what Apple can do. Who sells the most phones? Who's the biggest company out of the phone companies in the world? It's Apple. Because what they do is say, you go ahead, you make this new technology, we'll do our own version of that, but we'll make sure it works and works properly and is compatible with all our systems. No, think about it. Nobody wants to be the pioneer. Excuse me, a bit of a pun there, weren't they? Yeah, but as in the person to bring it out. Well, don't get me jokes then. All right, first person to bring stuff out. Yeah, thank you, Justin. Yeah, first
Sam
person to bring stuff. Pioneer, as in the first to do it. The pioneers, Western pioneers. Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
Oh, all right. I was tempted to do a third one, but I won't.
I wouldn't.
No. So yeah, you've got to make sure it works and works correctly, and that's where your pioneer is, isn't it? Okay, there's at least one other thing anyway, if not more, that is gone off this last week is DJ Envy and I decided to sit down and waste 2.5 days on old school technology to progress ourselves further. It was like, crikey, it's like being nostalgic going back to 2008, 2010.
Yeah, but what they've done, they've took old technology and they put a bit of a twist on it, didn't they? Because back in the day, right, me and T would have done that, gone through that set up in the back end, just like that. 15 minutes, we would have had it done.
Well, let's have
2.5 days later, we finally work it out.
So what we've done, in essence, we've gone back and done an audio stream. And the audio streams are old technology, old shoutcast and icecast technology, with a view to go to step forward to get onto smart devices, which is Alexa. So we looked at doing this. First came about a bit more seriously last September.
Yeah, we trialed it, didn't we?
Well, okay,
sort of.
One of the club nights we had, we spoke to a fellow DJ, and basically he gave us an idea of how to get ourselves onto smart apps. And obviously that was quite expensive, about £90 a month. They were talking off. But obviously we've come across another way, and there's another service provider that basically does it for about £10 a month in essence. So it's a lot, obviously a tenth of the price to get the same access onto the app. So,
but there is a downside to the way we've done it, isn't there?
Is there?
Yes. So if you'd paid the top money, you just get registered on the Alexa service and you talk to it. You'll go, Alexa, play Dance Party 247 radio.
Oh, okay. Okay. There's a what's the word?
Yeah, it's a skill.
It's incros. I can't think of the word of what it is. There's a funny little quirk about this, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're not happy with it, but
I think
it's a drama to fix.
There's three, to be fair, to get on Alexa, which we're now available on all Alexa devices, by the way, and apps. Here ended the advert. To activate it, you say Alexa play Dance Party 24/7 radio, rather than Dance Party 247 radio, because that's the way it was set up, and the difference between American and English way of pronouncing it. However, when she repeats it back, she says playing Dance Party 247. So there's three things we've got to call it Dance Party 24/7 to activate it. I thought it was only 247, and she calls it 247. So
yeah, it's not ideal. We spoke to the company who we went through, and it's a long process to get it done. So what they have to do, they have to shut down that account and then redo a new one, which is a bit no point, is there?
Because when we go to Dance Party 247, it'll always come back and read it exactly how it sees it, which is 247.
It doesn't matter what we say unless we actually spoke to these people on the phone, which you can't do. It's all done by tickets and emails and that. It's going to come back the same again, isn't it?
Yeah. So it took us 2.5 days with a few hiccups. Not all of us. Not all of them. I was going to say not all of them of our own doing.
No.
Eventually, we got everything to work. I guess in the past, if we had these hiccups, that we'd probably thrown the towel in, but we know that the system works, so we just had to wrap our heads around it, and we weren't. It wasn't the easiest of journeys, but we got there. Now we are now live as when this goes out. So you need to go to your Alexa skills, and is it skills and games? Is it?
So you go onto your Amazon account, go to skills and games. Yeah, type in Dance Party 247, not 24/7, 247, and then it'll come up, and just enable it on your Amazon Prime account, and then that will then enable that to work on your phone, on your dot. I think it's the same, is it?
Destiny,
Destiny,
did you do it on
did you do yours?
Yes, it's the same. Just go onto the website, enable it, and then just talk to her.
Yeah. So it's literally a 3-minute process. It's so quick.
If that.
It's super quick. We will put a link down below.
I mean, I think it's worth pointing out in this point of the podcast, now we're on this subject, that I think if it wasn't for T, we probably wouldn't have had Alexa in the first place. So
no, not quite true.
That's what T said to me.
Yeah, you probably did.
I did. Oh wait, look, cup of tea, Alexa. You know where it's at.
You've actually got your own name on your own hat.
Yeah, that's the right report for that.
Yeah, I'm not saying it won't. It make perfect sense. But
Yeah.
So hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be massive on Alexa, which will be really cool. So don't forget, anyone who's listening or watching, tell all your friends. Dance Party 24/7 radio is now on Alexa.
And when you ask for Dance Party 24/7 radio to play it, and you get. Thanks for watching and listening to Dance Party 24/7 podcast, 247, wherever you are in the world, if it's any different. We have DJ Destiny, Mr. Sam Saint, the pleasure of those two this evening, and somewhat pleasurable, the company of DJ Envy. Well, maybe a bit more. I have to put them up with all day long. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all those good things. Give us a like if you're listening, and we'll see you, and hopefully the next podcast soon. Ta-da.